putting Shaligrams on that turntable. Oh, it's so cool. Is this my microphone? Oh yeah. Test. Yep, yep. Very cool. Boom. There we go. Here we are. That's a Dwarka Sheila, the white thing. Not actually a Shaligram, everything else is. It's kind of interesting how they're like unstable through that turn. That one's incredible at standing. Just keep in the bag now. Hopefully this thing in the middle doesn't have some collapse issue. A little concerned looking at it, but I was trying to get a good angle in there, and this is what ended up happening. It's a little blurry coming around the front. Got so many Shaligrams in here. Legends too. Oh, so many legends in the making. All legends in the making. Oh man. Ooh. Meanwhile, we got this Shaligram. Ready to go. I was looking at it yesterday. And it's so incredible. So this is where the ammonite imprint structure is, which is actually less interesting so far in my analysis of the Shaligram than the bottom face and the sides. One thing I do notice when I was looking at this is porosity is very present, I would say. Like little pores that seem to be actually in like this like gray area. Oh, here we go. These. I should probably have fixed this camera because I'm going left to right and it's coming in at this angle. Just turn this. Oh, scheiße. Okay, that should be good. There we go. Okay, how exciting. Let's see if we can get a crisp image zoomed in. It's just less interesting on this side, I guess. It looks like there might be pores, might be other... like shale or some black part of like specks. It's unclear that if it's black specks or actual holes. So, actually, maybe we can look a little closer around this. Get rid of that. What's up, dudes? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. I know I'm hard to listen to. Anyone who's here, kudos. Thanks for hanging out. Hope, yeah, I'm sure you're like, not that hard, man. This shit is awesome if you're actually enjoying. The Shaligrams. So here's the edge of the ammonite feature. Oh, that's actually a piece of it. So it's cutting in there. But then underneath this mass and cutting and like down to create another layer, another lobe, creating this piece here. That could have been cut out all the way, but was not. Shaligram's like, ah, what's happening? They probably don't want to be spun in circles. That, like, speaking of circles, this opening is incredible. What is going on? Let's get that there. Where was it? I gotta get smaller. Maybe turn that off for now. Oh yeah. I'm also... There we go. My screen was too small. Okay. One thing I noticed, yeah, I've rewatched this video from yesterday because I was like, whoa, That was pretty interesting. And then I was watching the part when I was looking at this Shaligram, and I was like, whoa, I didn't notice that. And I think it was here. Like the way these are, I think, like the way the up, down, the orange colored region between, I believe it was here. One of the locations, it looked like a center layer was there, and then like branches off to the sides of the thing. It wasn't, so I'm purposely hiding it so that I can't see it clearly. Something that was, I think I was trying to look very close at this like dark green looking area. Wow. It looks almost like there's like a dark green material filling this what is it? Does that mark like an upward arrowhead? Exponential sign? I don't know. I forget what it's called. That thing, it almost looks like it's filling it, but I think it might just be crystal that's like reflecting in multiple colors up at the peak there and to the right. It's kind of just filling it mostly. That's not actually entirely filling it. I'm not sure. But I was trying to look at that, and I think I got I got close enough that I found this up here to be even more curious. I hit it. There we go. So what I'm looking at is specifically like how this goes kind of there, over that way. But then down here, like this section kind of divides, goes down along that way. Like, it's very odd looking in layers this way. It doesn't look like would be expected if this was just some like trace fossil thing. It's too layered, like erosional currents are at play kind of thing in an evidentiary way. That's what I'm getting at. This thing is freaking so loose some reason. It's like these screws that came loose. the hell? One second. Oh darn. I found an Allen wrench, but well, several. None of them fit. It's still loose. This thing is wobbly. Oh, now it's not wobbly. Oh, no, there it is. Makes it way harder. Not even doing anything. I don't really feel like doing this now. I'm like, no one cares. Fuck. I need to blow up somehow, but I'm like bored. Not bored, just like no longer excited. Was that muted? No. Okay. Not that I'm saying anything relevant. It's kind of odd. Like, is it just me? I don't know, for some reason when I take an image, it seems harder to see what I'm talking about. Let's go like this. Like, I feel like on this section of the Shaligram, there's like the left-right stuff going on here. Definitely with some nuance. But then in particular, there seems to be, like right here particularly, something going more that way. And then this bends. So maybe, like, I feel like I see single grain rows like this. Something of that nature. That are generally going up this way. And then even turning. Even though over here we have all these turning though, like they're turning here. There's signs of a turn in the flow pattern is what I'm getting at. Even looks like some surface eddy might have been at play. Many surface eddies. How zoomed in are we? Let's zoom out. Lots of porosity there. That looks clearly porosity. Where on the other side it looked more like it could be shale, could be porosity. Here it looks more like it clearly is porosity. I don't know if the shale side also therefore, or the other side also therefore is, I don't know. boundary right there. There's like some fracture line. But as we go up this way, we really see a hard boundary of like something going on here. Like what I see, maybe you see, is this boundary. Like generally going through here, and maybe possibly that way, I don't know. But then where to the left here, there's this left-right flow that's about at this angle. That basically goes up to the red line. It kind of fades out. Maybe over here there might be more a different angle, but for sure we see generally this angle here, but it's not quite the same angle as what's going on over here. Like this part down here. Just maybe at like that angle. So it's a little different. And it seems to go up here. We see it. And through here we see it. And then it's like approaching here. But notice as we come over here, like we're not just seeing these. We're starting to see this here, which I did terribly, which is generally going down here, but also like over here. Cross here, cross through here, etc. But all the way over to here even. So it seems there's some interaction of currents. And also, I would say this green one. Seems to have, where is it? Some relationship to this angle here. And this angle here. Like follow back there. Like it branches up for some reason. And then it has this whole area that seems related to these smaller channel type things. Almost like a flow is filling like a lake here and then flowing through a more river-like way and then to like a lake area where it eroded more and created space for more water to pull. But then it ran into some kind of resistance over here. And even maybe did the same with all this. Like pulling against it. But also eroding against it. That's the kind of thing I'm seeing here. There's also another arc that, I guess I don't have that picture. Like to the, oh yeah. I got a toothpick. Okay, this arc right here. It's going up this way. Kind of parallel to the other arc down the center. As 8 arcs, so does the like subtler arc on the left. interestingly possibly related to this arc, like outward from it. Oh my god, they're incredible. Dude. Oh my god. I love shaligrams. It's going at that angle there. But on this slightly arced off segment to the right, it looks like it's sloping more and more to the left there. Oh shit. Just remembering I didn't respond to a phone call. Like, what? River currents, they said. Well, free. Come on, man. What's this thing? Whole thing's coming apart. Oh. It's about as zoomed out as I can get, I guess. On this one. feel like there's like a double helix looking things on the left side there, going up. Like over here. And like there, kind of there also. Like little diamond type shapes, maybe. That kind of gave me the impression of like energy flows in some kind of diamond double helix type of thing, though. That's like manifesting more like this. I don't know. Oh my god, those boundaries. Like, abruptly up, down. Left, right, left, right. Abruptly up, down. So we've got like a, in the direction we're looking, up, down, dominant flow in this regime, let's say. Over here. That is interacting with a like equatorial current, like a polar current and an equatorial current kind of thing. Pole to pole and just equatorial. It's just running into it abruptly. And I guess the equatorial current is like bending it abruptly, leading to like bending from this to this, like where the yellow dots are in the center of it, like a rectangle shape. Like it literally bends, and then there's another rectangle. Let's see if I can get this. Guess I don't need to hold it. Let's fix it. Like it's got one quadrant looking thing, generally over here. It's like a quadrant, and then like another quadrant over here. But then above it, all these are like generally up, down. And this too. But then over here we got the left, right, so it's literally like a current flow is maybe, that's if it's going like this way. If flow is generally going this way, then it would be interacting with flow generally going this way, which would then be bending it to join it over here, at least in part, which would just lead to turning, and apparently some kind of pixelated weird turning in Shaligrams that is common in how it creates these regions. But then entirely left, right. Up, down. Switch. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Goes over that feature, and then what do we see over here? But up, down. This corner is incredible. Reminds me of Bismuth, maybe. I think it's Bismuth. Pretty sure Bismuth. Bismuth. Yeah. Just reminds me of it. I don't know. Let's click one, I guess. I don't know. So it's like two currents are interacting at some like final resistance, like over here. This current coming left to right here is bending. Notice that it sharply bends here. It starts to go up this way. In this section especially, going up that way as it approaches, like right here, like it's bending the current because of resistance. And then the flows up down here are maybe limited as well out there. So basically, it's like the last point where they can interact is in the corner kind of thing here. So they did so more than they did prior is kind of what I'm thinking. Leading to the structure formation thing. The formation thing forming. Do you see now? Wow. I'm sorry. What? It looks like little rows where you can almost see like the actual end of the row divided. See a swirl there on the left. Center of the screen, basically. About a quarter of the screen. Really, let's see. I feel like I see, like around here. And up here. Across that way maybe, but then I feel like maybe an ammonite kind of appearance might be at play there. I don't know, just kind of connected there. But then like another something going on there. Like, it gives me the impression it was kind of eroding an ammonite type thing here, just subtly. But also, like, not just eroding, moving the structures of the particles. Like, these are little grains, practically, like, grain, 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 that then, like, thread together. Or are threaded together like beads kind of thing. Then over here though, they can do not just lines, they actually like rotate and go more like that way. Where then their arrangement is a product of the flows. It's not just that they're being eroded around in some base material. Is just eroded to form it. It's also the grains are in motion. I just had to make sure to get a nice glass of fuck the system. Cheers, guys. To this cup of Joe is to you guys. So cheers. It's just nicer out of I don't know, something about mugs. Anyway. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. It's kind of looking around at these grains. It's thinking about taking a picture. I think I might stop. Now I'll be back. I'm gonna be back in like 10 minutes. No one's here. So feel free to just scroll ahead if you're watching this after the fact, and I'll be right back. Okay, okay. Sorry. No one's there, though, I don't think. Sorry if you are. Where'd he go? Oh, with the smoke. How long? That was like 20 minutes. I was thinking I kind of need to take a, like, to do this. Where I took several images of this Shaligram surface and photo merge them on Photoshop. This is very similar. I find this one very similar in terms of the way the striations are. This one comparatively wraps this way, and then around this way, up, over, around, and just wraps around. And then it has currents around the side with down here that then wrap around here and here, creating these like block shapes. Like the Shaligram we're looking at has just shapes like this in the surface. Not this particular shape, but shapes in the surface, like how that boundary is. Definitely are seeing similar interactions like this, as well as adjacent to some kind of feature that we were noticing was around that boundary, although this one is rather centered, interestingly, is where it's happening rather than at a boundary, although this is more at a boundary, so maybe like it's a boundary to this system. Which also has interesting things like this little block down here that's going a completely different angle than this. Up here, these just coming off of, literally extending off of these paths and out these ways. And going around, so there's that one we're looking at there. From a different angle, another ammonite that has features around beyond the boundary where erosion was happening. Looks like the upper chakra has some things going up that way I didn't notice, like it was trying to be a bigger chakra, like related to the larger area. Again, with these blocks of certain current flows overlapping one another in interesting ways that don't really make sense for a river current. Like, no river current can produce these surface patterns where there is a flow around. Interestingly, this is kind of curious right there with that. this is a little more bent, and then this to the left, like this way. A little more bent this way, and then this one, which is more bent. It's like an X. Like this one points like that way, and this one points like down here. Oh, I can't see where I'm doing that. But the point is, it goes around, and then it has interesting, like, maybe related to tangential currents, like a general current flowing in, up, down, left, right, related to those, that then is interacting to create an eddy that is, if that is the case, maybe going this way, so that it got pushed down to go more across here by this inflowing current in this region that then maybe went across here and like eroded in this area to then actually like flow into a region where it eddied and did the thing we talked about in the previous episode. Interestingly, having like little jets off of two sides, maybe another there. Where this is the inflow until it eddies here. Possibly going like running into it and then going up this way and creating a counter or clockwise eddy that then ramps inward. Or it kind of just goes straight through to like over here and wraps around, comes back and creates this buckle and so on, where it's like there's current flow here that's wrapping around, but also just generally flowing with this flow. But as it wraps around to flow with that flow, except for that there's this inlet here that maybe even interacts across this way to like go to even like the pole, like straight to the pole where this eddy is. Maybe. Or also just interacting in here, maybe going up and around this way, across, running into resistance and going up and into counterflows, so then etching along this way. Whoa. Incredible. Like, guys, rivers can't do this. Like, a river would create just like linear paths across this, if anything. And even if it did it like in one direction and then the rock like moved and it did it in another direction, so it kind of could layer the things, it still wouldn't do it like it, the resultant product where it wraps around like this. going off the edge there. It's going off the edge there. Definitely going different directions on the right side and the left side. About divided about there. And then again, left side, right side, visible over here. I guess it's the whole length. But the more defined striations seem to be near that edge, and then over here where it actually eroded. But if we look around the edge, let's see. Sorry, Shaligram. Like we see striations going up, down here that are in line this whole way, like across the toothpick. There's a totally different direction. But a river current would not do that. It's like, what the fuck, dude? You're not even looking at me. Well, I don't know. It wouldn't like turn on for some reason. Just turn that off then. It was kind of hot. You can see the flow around the edge. It goes across and then slightly turns at this marker almost, and maybe that marker too. Slight bend, still with like line, one after another, rows of these things that then bends a little more to go more this way, but then it bends back more this way while going more straight in this region, dividing. That boundary. Oh my god, those. This leading to this. With a little thread that looks like it leads all the way back. We can see the orange-red color all the way back at the actual boundary, right like over there. And it looks like we can see it running actually back over there. Like maybe current got into the Shaligram here, like just from the eddy that was centered around this chakra, it extended down to create like another lobe. While it was like this, just a continuous lobe here that would have wrapped back up and just been like the entirety of it, it was creating another lobe out this way by cutting down into the rock and then stripping the material to create these like dendritic structures, as well as the arcs of the ribs of the ammonite imprint. And in the process, I guess it looks like some of the current went out this way and then interacted across here. Interesting, it even looks like it goes this way and like it goes kind of like this way. Whoa. I should probably be a little bigger. Hello, everyone. Just under this like thin sheet. Is that like a conduit? Let's see. Like down the center of the tube, those dark spots look almost like conduits. My thought is maybe it's removing this material from the like lighter material. It's removing shale and things and kind of concentrating them into conduits that kind of exhaust the materials through, that then when we see a cross section into one, it actually has this like nucleus core along its length. Wow. That one looks almost like it has an actual pore. Looks like there's like an 8 underneath it. Like spaced a bit. It's very subtle. There's multiple things that could be what I just said, but almost like there's a string of like little eddies that are kind of just the flow coming out into resistance, but flowing and propagating, and then creating like a chain until it started to, let's see. I'll just draw it. It's kind of like if there is like a little starting circle right there, and then maybe something like here, thing, maybe something there that has something larger. What I saw as an 8 was down here. It's like here. And like there's something there, so it's kind of just like chaining through to actually create a path that it erodes. But then as it chains through, it's into resistance, which then causes it to eddy, and like it flows out, and then it hits resistance of pressures, so it just pushes out its boundaries, which then as it does this, it basically builds up pressure, and then it breaks through like a caterpillar thing, and then pushes out the boundaries when it runs into resistance. And it just chains like this, but does so where it's able to propagate enough that it doesn't actually erode into the stone very much. Instead, it just kind of subtly creates shapes until it reaches a point where it kind of creates like a larger, like it flows one way, but then it comes back the other way because it's running into resistance again. So it's basically creating another circle type thing, kind of like this, but where it's more so actually creating heavy erosion into the stone, which is what I would say is going on as we go down here and reach this area. It's actually cutting into the stone, but running into resistance. But being a flow of like water that also contains like residual materials from this erosional process over here that was creating these, that was sourcing this flow of like orange material. I don't know if it's sourcing it, but at least going through it. Some flow that has it in it. It seems to be specifically going from underneath there, so essentially sourcing it to then go over here, to then go there. I don't think it's going here and then eroding in this way into that pore, and then going underneath but also through this way to then go over here. It's more of like an exit current. Wow. What? That corner is so... like the whole length. Whoa. It's just so well-rounded there. A little too well-rounded. That's not the light, that's actually the stone. What the... It just looks like it's glowing. You can see the layers. Of the grains that are arced with the far right boundary here, like flowing out towards it. At least in part, like it's possibly competing with other interactions. So it's not just following that arc. Wow. What is that? So, supposed Ammonite's boundary that has a cut in there that if we follow it does not go to where we're just looking over here, so it's not directly related to that. And if we follow this, it goes down there, so that's not related. It's all the way up here. There's like a trail. I find this interesting right here. Because the actual whole length of that rib is way wider. Like it really shouldn't be limited to right there. It should be expanding with the rib over here. Like more to over like here. More in line with this. But it actually is over there, and it looks almost whole over there, like the surroundings is all white. Like it doesn't look like it just broke. The shape is much like the thing to the right. In terms of just the way it's formed, and the one to the right of that too, like it's a whole rib thing that's totally bent there. Where we see the one to the left, the second one over, has like a bunch of like this angle. There's a bunch of stuff going like there on the left in the like darker material. Especially can see it in just like that white thread looking path. Is that what is going on there? As close as we can be? I don't think so. Oh, it's in the rock, alright. Those are grains for sure. What the? Maybe. I don't know what to make of it. Reminiscent of the filaments that I constantly see. Seems to still be there. About center there. Then we see the grains going up into the center. I don't know. Zoom out on that. No, I'm moving. The old touch it test. The old touch it test, see if it's like a fiber. Kind of hard to get it all in focus here, it seems. Right here, there's a connection from this channel down through to this area, where then a current flowed and fanned out to both directions as it went down, but then it carved out like a cavity that created like dendritic little things in there. It's little sharp, jagged formations. Whoa. Just bends. Look at that bend. What a bend, that white. It's just going down, down. Follow it. Looks like it originates over there. Goes out this way. Flows along this way. Goes down this way. And then starts to flow in the general direction of those trends. Not quite the same direction, but the general direction. But then it hooks back up down here. Pretty much at the edge of the rock. Or maybe it's running into currents flowing left-right here generally. The thing is there's a little tiny bit. That's the scale we're working with. That's the tip of the toothpick. There's a tiny bit, like right underneath it, of white that maybe I can just draw. It's definitely useful to just do this. Like this white here. This boundary. It's pretty much like a continuous boundary. But then as we come down here, we actually run into like this little dupe. And then even maybe a little bit there, or maybe it goes that way too, but generally back that way too. Makes me think there's something like going this way, a flow that goes this way, and then runs into resistance and gets kind of blocked off. And then another flow kind of goes next to it and gets blocked off by just like resistance like that. Suggestive flows this way, even by those like chevron looking things. But then layering until it actually arcs. Instead of stopping, it arcs and flows, so maybe it's actually flowing this way here. Where, like, it's generally sourced from over here. Maybe even like a wider area that's funneling through for some reason. And then there's just a bunch of these things going on still in the image. Okay. Let's see which way makes more sense. This is flowing out of that area into this area. I'm just like drooling. Both sides, man. Both sides. Oops. What if I add source? Video. Cool. What is really interesting? Oh, we are. I lost it, damn. There it is. I mean, it definitely has the features. Zooming out, zooming out. I don't even know where that was. Was that thing? No way. No. Oh yeah, it's up here. That's why I couldn't find it. You can also see like a rib running from up here down this way. A boundary there. And then another one from that one across that way. I kind of like was just looking at these shaligrams. Like that dude on top too. uh, That's so cool. The one on the top, like inside right now. It's crazy because it has a drill hole on that side. So my interpretation is it came in through the back side and then fanned out through the front side and like vented through the front, but it came in through a drill hole into the backside that actually indented the shape of the stone, but went in there and then vented the front. Almost like a fan, like a Japanese fan, like on some kind of stick shaped thing where the current flows in like a stick and it fans out in like 180 degrees, where it didn't even like create the full shape of the ammonite. So many cool shaligrams. I love, and then the surface of that one too. Oh my god. And that's just the front and back, the top and bottom are cool too. Okay. Who's gonna watch this? Who knows? I'm just kind of looking around. I can understand if no one cares and turns it off a while ago. Never hears that because they turned it off a while ago. I can understand though. I'll switch back if something is really intriguing. I should probably stop. Fuck, it's late. I'm just realizing. This is the latest I've been up since daylight savings changed. I don't know if that's true. I'm just feeling like it is. I think it's getting later and later again. Like the way below it is eroded too. Like not just the orange, but like this area. Totally takes its shape and then it goes through, so the current continues. It doesn't even stop with that circle that it eroded more of the circles bound, or that eddy, whatever, where it eroded more of the eddy's boundary. It doesn't even stop there. It kept going and went all the way down here. Let's maybe follow it. Looks like it ran into a cross current that bent it. Let's see if we find the cross current. Maybe I'll go back here now. So it changes direction here. Skips over to the left. I'm trying to get this in there. There we go. Skips over to the left. Do we see anything that might have pushed it over it from that way? I feel like there's flows going actually like this angle. Not very pronounced. But we kind of see it with that little crack thing going on there. So maybe that runs into it, bends it, it goes over around this way. Keeps going. Okay, it keeps going this way. Seems to fade out. Largely. Although possibly it runs over to this area. Like this one does here. But that's not this one. Wherever it was. There. So maybe actually it kind of follows this boundary across. Like it where is this? There. Down this way. But then there's like this boundary around there, around this way. Where there's like an erosional path kind of across there. I don't know if it's pronounced that much, but it is there. Maybe it kind of cut over from there to like a better path around here, where then it went down this way to here because it couldn't make it through directly as easily some reason. Possibly because of these currents. So it literally went, maybe it went like down and then basically cut over to below the current, where the currents are flowing, even though they're flowing around the rock under high pressure, so they're held to the surface as they flow around here. Like they still kind of ramp relatively as they bend, as they go around the bend of the surface, so it kind of ramps over here. So that would probably provide like some opportunity for current to get over that way. That would just make it like a easier way for it to route, maybe, because I don't know where this is coming from. It kind of just shows up around here. It doesn't seem directly connected to that. Maybe whatever's going on over here goes up through here as well, and then like down this way to then go into here. Crazy. Oh my god. So cool. The striations at that boundary. So there's an up-down just past this pretty hard boundary here. Kind of like a divide. It's going mostly left, right. Definitely can see some like squeezing and bending of these layers as they kind of fit together into this tapestry. But then abrupt changes in the direction that certain boundaries. That's fascinating. It actually over here, it's kind of all the same direction, but as we move over, it kind of does it more stepped in like regions. Where up here, it's kind of merged to the same direction. So it's probably outflows from the ammonite, especially from up in this area, flowing down this way to the boundary of the ammonite, but then continuing down into the region beyond the boundary. That's the boundary there. So like current flowed off like a waterfall there, off that little space, and down into the rock, along the side of the rock, and eroded these regions, but then it like ran into some resistance of a counterflow, or flowing left to right here, that basically like held this boundary. So that then the erosion like went around it and went down and around it and around it. This one maybe even hyper in it as well because of the way it is. Notice how those lines change abruptly on the left, very much. Right there. As if there's some kind of eddy forming at the boundary of these currents to produce this. Let's see, what is even going on there? Looks like some pseudo chakra kind of things, like it's trying to form some cohesive thing, but I can't make out like an ammonite structure quite. Just like things that kind of resemble it. On the top, there's almost like a siphuncle look to it, or one of those ribs. Oh, maybe it's one of those channels. Almost like this, like a... Oops. Like a tube kind of thing. Very odd. This is kind of like approaching, trying to make a chakra in appearance. This is kind of looking like it could be making a chakra. And like a nucleus region here. With like a lobe out this way. But like it didn't cohesively do anything to make an actual ammonite, so we just have what we see here. Little tiny chakra pillar thing in there. You gotta see it. This thing. Right here specifically. Pillar. Lobe. Lobe. It's just like a grain though in the chakra, which is kind of crazy. How I can do that. How I can do that, not that I'm saying the thing. Oh yeah, here we are. I wanted to look at this. Almost looks like suture patterns on it. See, we got like 3 high points with like a little dot above the center one too. And the left one even a little, like a lighter color. Might be happenstance on the positioning of those little dot speck things, but I don't know. Okay. 2.5 hours, I'm out of here. I didn't even realize how long I was streaming. I know about a half hour was me just like with the turntable. So, I guess I'll bid you guys adieu from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I get to hide my face.